Some of America's best-known retailers are struggling to stay relevant. In the last month, Macy's announced it's closing 150 stores. Despite this, retail openings outweighed closures last year, and consumer spending is held up. Naveen Jaggi is JLL America's president of retail. Joins us here on set. It's good to talk to you today. We were talking about this morning, about when you think about where retail is headed, a lot of department stores may be looking for a smaller footprint, more localized footprint. Talk to me about what it is that you're seeing in this environment.
Well, I think what we're seeing is a big shift in the way consumers spend, right? So the days of the big department store anchored malls have a place in America, but we don't need to see as many of those big department stores because consumers have found a way to find what they want at a much closer location to their home. And it's not surprising if you think about the way Macy's is saying that their future growth is in the 30,000 square foot space. That's what they claim, that they're gonna have a big effort in that level, which says to them, look, we know that there's Burlington, TJX, and those kinds of brands that are capturing a lion's share of the U.S. consumer dollar, more than ever before. That's where they can use their scale and their buying power to meet that demand. So it makes good sense for them to pivot. And as we also saw from Nordstrom's, what have they said recently? Nordstrom's Rack is the biggest brand for them to drive their growth. Yeah. They've taken their focus off the department store. So department stores have a place, but I think the reality is more of these value-oriented retail spaces in the 30,000 square foot space makes the most sense because that's where consumers want to go.
Are there, Naveen, when you look across kind of the retail landscape, are there certain names that you pay, more attention to than others, certain bellwethers that you consider for the sector?
Yeah, so if we're talking about that one particular, call it daily goods value sector, right? So if you want to talk about brands such as TJX and now Burlington. I mean, it's fascinating to watch a group like Burlington. 5 years ago, Burlington was the Burlington Coat Factory. It was not really known as a value player against a TJX or a Ross. Today, they're opening over 60 stores a year, and they're taking 50, 60, 70,000 square feet in some cases. So to me, I'm watching that entire sector and saying, where the U.S. consumer is shopping, that's the sector I want to watch, because that tells me where we spend our dollars has the most sustainability in the long run. And today, more than ever, the dollar value sector is grabbing a more lion's share of the U.S. consumer than ever before. I'm watching that sector, whether it's grocery or soft goods.
Is there something to be said also about the payoff, that the buy-in that you get at some of these discount stores in a physical store?
Absolutely.
If you think about a Nordstrom or Macy's, you don't necessarily have to go into the store. I mean, I say that as somebody who shops online a lot,
right.
But when you go into a TJX store, right, you ultimately are going there to sort of sort through things to be able to find the best value. I mean, is that a big part of
the thrill of the find? We know that a TJX, for example, will go out and find a lot of these very high demand department store type of product, but you can get it in a much smaller location. So the thrill of the seek, the search, the find, that makes it the adventure. None of those brands have a very large presence online. They have somewhat of a presence, but they actually want you to come inside. So as opposed to buying a crock pot or buying a dress online through Macy's and picking it up, which is certainly right for a big part of the American public, the adventure and finding it at a value, that's what seems to work for a lot of Americans today more than ever. And that's why I think Aldi and other brands have done the same thing. Come to the store, find a bargain you won't find anywhere else for a limited time. Get it now before it's gone.
I want to get, Naveen, just also your broad take on the U.S. consumer right now. I think they've actually surprised a lot of people with just how resilient they are. But what are you seeing now, Naveen, and what do you see kind of looking ahead?
Well, I think the U.S. consumer shocked everybody back in the holiday season, right? They were projected to do about 4.4 per year sales over 23, over 22, 5.6% over year. That tells you U.S. consumer is a lot stronger than everybody says. So to me, the U.S. consumer will remain strong as long as we have low labor. So right now, unemployment level is 3.7, 3.8, right? Wages are up, or at least better than they were 5, 6, 7 years ago. So to me, as long as the U.S. consumer feels strong, market is up. So their 401s feel better than they did a year ago. All of this gives them confidence to go shopping. So as long as the U.S. consumer continues to shop, and they have shown no indication to pull back on shopping, we will see a healthy retail environment.
Part of that is also execution, though, right? And when you think about it, I mean, the consumer is not all the same.
No.
When you think about where the retailers have been, those that have been able to stay ahead are those that have really executed on very specific needs that the consumers have.
So retailers, the ones who've really got it figured out, which is to give the consumer what they want and execute it really well. So we were talking about this a while ago with Lululemon. What a great brand. I mean, they've been on a run for the past 3 or 4 years. They're a hot streak, right? They execute what they have and what they make very, very well. They know exactly what the Lulu consumer wants. And so what do we see now? We see Alo Yoga, Beyond Yoga. We see other brands coming in to try and nip at their heels. But the ones who nail it really well, Dollar General and the dollar sector, they do it really, really well. There's many of these what I call brand killers that execute so well, the U.S. consumer is so loyal to them. They know whatever they do, the consumer follows.
Yeah, loyalty is certainly significant
Absolutely.
there. Naveen, Jaggi, good to talk to you today. Thanks so much for joining us.
Glad to be here.